Last night we kicked off the play-in tournament with the Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors going head-to-head again, and what some would say is one of the newest rivalries, which ain't really a rivalry if it's always one-sided. I gotta give Draymond Green that. We ain't seen Memphis really get the edge on Golden State in quite some time. It's kind of time to put that to bed. This ain't no rivalry. This is just competitive play. How about that? But again, in the playoff tournament, we got to see that, and it went exactly as we expected it to. Golden State won again. And the reason they won is because we were able to confirm three things. Playoff Jimmy is a real thing. Steph is a bad man. And having a head coach matters. Let's talk about those things on this episode of The Breeze. Breeze Nation, I want you to do me a favor. If you're new to this channel, I need you to like, share, subscribe, leave the 5-star review, as Pat always says. Y'all know what to do. Get into what we'll be doing so we can continue to give you this national news. At the end of the day, I'm going to start these topics in reverse. Having a head coach matters. Why do I say that? I don't care what anyone says. Firing your head coach right before you go into a situation where you're in playoff contention and things of that nature is the dumbest thing in the world. If you're going to commit to actually firing a coach, whether you win or lose, you're going to use committed to firing that coach. You might as well let him ride it out because you're in playoff contention. To shake that up right now means that you're okay with your team potentially failing no matter who you put in that spot. Now, I know some people can sit there and argue with that and this, that, and the other, but there's no way in the world you're going to sit there and tell me that the way that this game ended would not have been different if they had their traditional head coach. Why do I say that again? You have to be able to draw last-minute inbound plays. You have no timeouts, so you have to be able to draw good plays. You have to also be able to draw up plays with the thought process that the other team that gets paid millions of dollars is going to do something that they get paid to do, is to defend it. So you have to come up with contingencies in that. Last night we saw a head coach, in my opinion, draw up a play. He only had one particular option on it, and when that wasn't there, no one knew what to do. That's a failure. And that's not something that I think their previous coach would have actually done. I think he would have put them in a much better position to actually get a bucket. And he would have put in a different inbounder. That's just my take. The game was close enough because the refs absolutely made it close enough. Listen, I think they had 9 free throws in the last minute or something like that. It was wild. It was some very mysterious calls being called, but nonetheless, they were called. We live with it, but you have to take advantage of it if you're gonna get the calls, baby. And there's no way you could tell me that Memphis took advantage of that. Now, I'm not blaming any particular player, but what I am gonna say is, hey, when you have Jimmy Butler and they're playing like freaking free safety. You have Ja Morant on pretty much clamps. You have to work. You have to create plays to get other people open. And Golden State had a similar issue getting bounding like 30 seconds previously. So it's not as if this is only unique to this team, but the difference is players who actually know what to do, veterans, a coach who actually can put people in the right position to do it and allow them that room to do it. Guess what? When you clear out a backside because you have somebody being doubled and they fake to get an inbound, that works. I think Steve Kerr would have drew up a better play in that late game situation if he was in Memphis position as well. It matters. It just matters. Let's just cut the crap. It matters. And the Memphis Grizzlies, I don't know what you all were doing. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know what that man must have slapped somebody's daughter or something like that for you all to fire him at this particular time. But this is what you get when you do that. So coaching matters. Moving on to the obvious, Steph is a bad man. I'm not a professional player, but guess what? We like to hoop. I've had my thumb sprained, and I've tried to shoot. It hurt. It hurt a lot. Now, I know he probably got some what they call it, Toradol, whatever it is. He probably numbed that thing up 1,001 times. But either way, it impacts your shot. Didn't impact Steph Curry. That man was out there balling. And as Jimmy Butler says, he is the Batman of all Batmans. These are the games that they live for. Steph has been doing this for a while. Now, I will say in the clutch moments, he's gotten better because he ain't always been clutch. But that's a different video for a different day. And this particular day, when he drops 38, 8, and 4, what do you say? What can you say? And he seems to take the rivalry with the Memphis Grizzlies seriously. This is something where it seems like he shows up for these particular for these particular matchups, and they do so in spectacular fashion. What gets me is that, like, if you really look at the statistics of this game, with Steph being as bad as he is, with playoff Jimmy arriving, which we're gonna touch in just a second, there's no way you can tell me that the Memphis Grizzlies didn't have an opportunity to win this game. They shot better from the field. They shot better from three. They shot better from the free throw line. They had more rebounds, offensively and defensively. They literal lacking on the assists. But like honestly, if it's just two things, and they led in points in the paint. If I have a team that does that, oh hold on, and count it, one, two, three, four, five people in double digits, with one creeping up with 9 points, versus the Warriors, one, two, three, four people in double digits. It's like, and it's a big, huge disparity between who got what on those double digits. Like it ain't even close. Like if you go bar for bar, you could kind of say that Memphis just lost this game. That they had a good opportunity to win this game, but Steph is Steph. Steph with some of those late game threes is absolutely soul crushing. And again, we can just skip into this now. Playoff Jimmy is playoff Jimmy. Jimmy Butler had 38 points. Jimmy Butler had 38, 7, and 6. Now I get that he doesn't want to adopt the moniker. He thinks it's not a difference. No, the intensity that he plays with increases. His efficiency increases. Jimmy Butler is honestly in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler is a generational player, believe it or not. From a statistical standpoint, from a clutch standpoint, from the clutch statistics from a clutch statistics, from the efficiency perspective, and from the winning percentage, he's a generational player. Like that's not me making it up. That's not me just loosely throwing that term around. He legitimately is a generational player, statistically. Now he's clearly a number two in most situations, but even as a number one, when he had the opportunity to be, he got what some would consider generational results. He didn't win, but you look at what he had and what he was stacked against. He had a AI sort of run. Nah, that's a little much. That's a little cap. That's a little cap. But you get what I'm trying to say here. Like he put on performances that even when you counted them out, he was the X factor that was like, you know what, maybe they got a chance. It's a reason why this is not going to be a sweep because Jimmy's here. Maybe we have a chance. And like it's one of those situations. So to see him in this situation where one, this is what I've always said. Golden State has always needed a player like Jimmy. A get a bucket whenever I need to, make a play whenever I need to, someone who can operate independent of the system that is Steph Curry. And that is exactly that's exactly what Jimmy Butler does. He operates independently of Steph Curry so much and so well that he can go out there and get his own bucket, but he is selfless enough to get back in tune with that system so that you can actually see the engine that goes, which is Steph Curry. And that's a hard thing for some people to do. And that's even a hard thing to kind of describe. The Golden State Warriors offense is a motion offense, but it is a Steph Curry motion offense. Everything is based off of I'm going to find a way to get this number 30 open so he can take this 30-foot jump shot. And that's a hard thing to kind of buy into when you come in with your own agenda. However, if you play that system right and you see, and because there will be situations in which Steph can't be Steph. Steph is not the most dominant player. He's not the best player in the league. He's just a really freaking good weapon. That's no cat. That's not hate. It's just the facts. Like Steph himself can keep you in a game. He can also shoot you out of a game. He does more and more of the former than the latter. But you get what I'm saying. Like there's times in which you can see him disappear, and you absolutely need people to be able to get a bucket outside of what he contributes. That's not Draymond Green. That's not Moses Moody. That's not Pomisky. That's not GP2. Although GP2 does play well. That's Jimmy Butler. And that's exactly what you even had when they had Kevin Durant. You need people like that within that lineup because you need to have an inside and somewhat of an outside inside game, excuse me, to go with that outside game. And that's what Jimmy does. He's not a deep ball threat like the rest of like some of the other individuals. I'm gonna go to this rim, I'm gonna get this bucket, I'm gonna draw this foul type individual, and that pairs well with the type of offense that they run and how Steph Curry plays. And so he's now in the best situation. Like, if you look at his setup in Miami, he had a bunch of shooters around him, and he just did his thing as well. Well, now he has the best shooter around him, and now he can still operate and do his thing when they need him to, and they give him the free range to do it because of how much of an impact he has, and he's a proven player. The Warriors may not win a championship this year, but they're going to be fun to watch, and they are definitely going to compete. Now, even with playoff Jimmy arriving, even with Steph being a bad man, and even with all the stuff that happened with Memphis, the Warriors are now the 7th seed, which means that they're now going against the 2nd seed, which is Houston. We're going to have a separate video to talk about that because they just signed up to get clapped. Congratulations. They just signed up to get clapped because the Houston Rockets, that's a team defensively and offensively that's going to be an interesting series to watch. Now, I'm not counting the former champs out, and I'm not counting playoff Jimmy. I think they're 24-7 since he's gotten there. But the Houston Rockets is a different beast, and that's the team that held Steph Curry to 3 points in their last matchup. It's going to be fun to watch, but I want to thank you all for tuning in. Listen, we're going to have more national topics on a weekly basis, as well as have the national show on Friday, recorded on Friday. You have the whole squad give their opinions on everything that happened throughout the week. So stay tuned, stay locked in, and we'll see you all soon.